everyone. Today we will see a poem, Hymn to Adversity. It is written by Thomas Gray. Thomas Gray, as we know, he belongs to neoclassical era, but he is known as a transitional poet because he added the elements of neoclassical era as well as romantic era in his poetry. Now, in this, he addresses adversity as daughter of Jove. Okay, it is somewhat similar to the poem written by Wordsworth, Ode to Duty, but it came later. Thomas Gray's poem came early. In this poem, there is a tone of bitterness because it said that when he wrote this poem, he had a fight with Robert Lowell. Let us see the poem. Daughter of Jove, relentless power, thou tamer of human breast, whose iron scourge and taunting are, the bad affright afflict the best. Bound in thy adamantine chain, the proud are taught to taste of pain, and purple talons vainly groan, with pangs unfelt before, unpitied and alone. Here, speaker says adversity is daughter of Jove, who is very powerful, who is tamer of the human heart, who tortures with her iron scourge. Okay, and the bad people they are afflicted in the best manner, and it puts such adamantine chains that the proud people they are also taught to taste the pain. Purple tyrants means the cruel people also groan under the pain adversity gives, with such a pang which are not felt before, they are not pitied, and they are not left alone, and they feel it alone. When first I sought to send on earth virtue his darling child designed, to thee he gave the heavenly birth, and bade to form her infant mind. Stern drudge nurse, thy rigid love, with patience many years she bore. What sorrow was thou badst her know, and from her own she learned to melt at others' woe. Writer says that when Jove, your father, has sent you on earth, he has sent another child along with you. That is virtue. He said, to you he gave heavenly birth, and to that virtue also he gave heavenly birth. Okay. And he further says, you are a stern nurse. This virtue, it has borne you for many years. And he further says that this virtue has learned to melt where at others' pain, means whenever you are others' companion, this virtue has always tried to melt. So here it is indirect reference to virtuous people who melt at others' adversity. Scared at thy frown terrific, fly self-pleasing folly's idle brood. Wild laughter, noise and thoughtless joy, leave us leisure to be good. Let they disperse and with them go, the summer friend flattering foe. By vain prosperity received, to her they vow their truth and are again believed. So writer says the people, the normal people are scared at your terrific sight. They frown. Okay, and they fly to the rich people. Okay, and they take the refuge under them. Wisdom in sable grab arrayed, immersed in rapture's thought profound and melancholy silent maid, with leaden eye that loves the ground, still on thy Solomon steps attend. Warm charity the general friend, with justice to herself severe, and pity dropping soft the sadly pleasing tear. So what speaker says? What speaker says that wisdom, people filled with wisdom are under face you. Okay, they think about you. People with melancholy, they also think about you. People who are warm, who wants to charity, they also experience you. That, and they you give tears to all of them. Then till here the poetry is objective, it is very very impersonal, but from here let us see its subjectiveness. O gently on thy suppliant's head, dread goddess, lay the chastening hand, not in thy gorgon terrors clad, nor circled with vengeful band, with thundering voice and threatening mien, with screaming horror's funeral cry, despair and fell disease and ghastly poverty. So the speaker here is referring to himself. It's merely like Thomas Gray is referring to himself. He is saying, lay thy chastening head, but don't show me all the terrors, all the vengefulness. You show that to impious people, but not to a person like me. You threaten them, you make them cry for funeral, you give them disease, poverty, but not for person like me. Thy form benign, O goddess, wear thy milder influence apart, thy philosophical train be there, to soften not to wound my heart. Thy generous spark extend revive, teach me to love and forgive, exact my own defects to scan, what others are to feel and know myself a man. So what speaker is saying? O goddess, be gentle to me. You lay your hand on me, but in a milder portion. So to soften me, not to wound what I have already. Be generous to me. Teach me to love. Teach me to forgive. Teach me to scan my own defects. Teach me to know my mistakes. Okay. Teach me others' feeling. Teach me to become a perfect man, to become strong. Okay. This is so here, as for a reason, Thomas Gray is called as transitional poet because we see first four stanzas belong to neoclassical era where poetry is completely objective, impersonal, it refers to everyone in general. But last two stanzas are subjective, refers to the poet himself. Okay, we will see other thing in next class. Thank you.